And you can read it as it's again. I have one who's one that just says, call me at your convenience, 10,000 times.
Yeah. You gotta give out registrations. They gave her some that's where she was. Just a bit, they got her.
All right. 7:15, we'll call the meeting to order. All members are present. We do have a quorum. Mr. Kane would like to lead us in invocation in person.
We beseech you, Almighty God, to bless this meeting of the Board of Education, so guide and rule over our hearts and our minds, that all our deliberations and decisions may be in accordance with your will and lead to the advancement and welfare of the community of Stratford we serve. Amen. Let's turn to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so just a couple comments. It is my belief that the Stratford school system is moving in a positive direction. We have a lot of great things happening. If you read the paper, if you look around, if you talk to people, I think everybody's excited about where things are and where they're going. So I look forward to a fruitful year. We're just getting the school year started, but looking forward to many more positive things to come forward, and I'm excited about where they'll lead us. So, and I'll leave it at that. Public forum. Do you have? Right here. All right. Email request. Katie Kozlinski.
Hello.
Hello. You state your name and address for the record?
Sure can. I am Katie Kaczynski. I live on 895 Burberton Terrace. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to pull up what I wrote to Lisa. I spoke to this committee in June regarding the redistricting. My son Ethan is at Will Coxon. He's currently in first grade. Last year he was in kindergarten, obviously. I made two optimizations back in June regarding the redistricting. First was about transitional years not needing to move. I would like to reassert that I still think 6th, 8th, and 12th graders should not be redistricted to a new school. It's a transitional time. It's a very vulnerable time in those age ranges, and it just frankly would be undue distress for those individuals. So I wanted to reassert that optimization. I also want to reassert that children with IEPs should be given the opportunity to waiver into their school of origin. My son has an expressive speech disorder. We've been working with the Stratford School District, since he was 3 years old. We went through birth to 3. He was at Second Home Lane. He received speech services there. He's at Will Coxon. Shout out to Lauren Finnegan. His speech pathologist is amazing. He's made amazing progress there. I know in my heart as a parent that if he is required to move to Chapel, that he will have progress loss. He will be in 2nd grade. He will be 7. He is very aware that he sounds different to those other students that he's with every day. They've learned to understand him. He's made fantastic progress. I do not want to see that progress loss because I know it will be there. I would think that I'm not the only IEP parent that would feel that there would be progress loss if they're forced to move. He should be given the chance to waiver into Will Coxon so he can continue with his care team. He was also diagnosed with ADHD over the summer. There's more need for him to stay with the team that knows him best, as do all other IEP children. And those are the two optimizations I want to reassert to this board as you continue down this road of redistricting, and I really hope that you take them into sincere consideration. Thank you.
No other speakers. We'll move into our student rep report. Zoe Connor.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so they all go.
They were out on the table. Oh, you left them on the table, there's two more speakers.
Hold on, Zoe.
So there's a couple others.
A couple other speakers apparently. Boulder Pena. And again, if you state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Olga Pena, 452 Laughlin Road, Stratford, Connecticut. I'm representing CARE tonight. We sent an email to the board as of October 14th. I'm not sure if you received it or not, but I'd like to read the letter to you so that it's on record. It has come to our attention that after-school clubs and activities that were previously funded through the ESSER grant are no longer being funded. As a CARE committee, we certainly understand the funding for the particular grant is no longer available. We strongly encourage you find a creative solution to fund the after-school clubs and activities. They are highly advertised during the 7th grade orientations. The advertisements during orientation create an excitement to the students to engage, involve, and included in the school community. The integrity of the district is important. While adults can balance unexpected changes, young children have difficulties with promises unkept. As a solution, the CARE committee is suggesting the potential to use DEI grant funding to provide equity and inclusion and provide the after-school clubs and activities that were advertised during orientation, which included volleyball, men of color, living in color, Pinky, and various other opportunities. A CARE representative would be willing to volunteer to help to look at the grants, the grant accounts, and other possible funding streams to find creative ways to reinstate the funding to re-implement the after-school opportunities, which align with the vision and the mission of CARE and of the Stratford schools. We are able to speak more about this at the next Board of Ed meeting, obviously tonight. However, we'd like to give you the opportunity to begin the process of finding ways to rectify this, as this is possible with our support and the guidance if needed. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker is Mike Sontag.
Good evening, Mike Sontag, 115 Allendale Drive, Stratford. I'm speaking tonight as chair of Citizens Addressing Racial Equity CARE. And I'm speaking to request transparency in all of the Board of Ed meetings, including the subcommittee meetings and special meetings, through continued videotaping and recording. The community needs to be informed of decisions being made that may affect their children and have an opportunity to provide feedback to ensure that decisions are effective for the schools, for the parents, and for their children. We have heard that some subcommittees are not going to be recorded. This would be a mistake. That's why I'm talking tonight. I want to make sure I'm not operating on incorrect information. That would result in the community believing they are not being considered in decisions that impact them and their children. And it would further drive division between community and the schools, which nobody wants in the end. Thank you for listening tonight.
That concludes our
Good evening. My name is Zoe Bernard. I am the student representative for Stratford High School. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight to talk about the different activities that are taking place at my school and how we can improve our schools as well as enhance our educational curriculum. Here's what's happening at Stratford High School. Stratford High School is happy to announce that SHS senior Xavier Nachetta was recognized by the College Board as a commended student. This recognition is based on his outstanding score on the school day SAT last year. On Sunday, September 29th, Stratford High students from the Be Kind Club, Link Crew, and cheer team volunteered at the End Al's Walk with the Alzheimer's Association. It made SHS so proud to see the students there, giving their time and helping to make sure the event went off without a hitch. The Be Kind Club was also able to raise and donate $50 to the Alzheimer's Association. We believe that this was a great example of our compassionate and engaged community members. On Tuesday, October 1st, SHS held their open house for the 2024 to 2025 school year. Over 400 people showed up for the evening that started with an amazing performance by our band and choir. Parents attended all of their child's classes, including advanced, where they heard from each specific teacher. PSAT testing day for our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders was held on October 23rd. While the test was taking place, all seniors had the option to attend workshop sessions that included help with the Common Application, college scholarship assistance, college essay writing help, and a mastery-based credit presentation. This allowed students to get a head start on this graduation requirement. Finally, students also had the opportunity to meet with a representative from Porter and Chester to discuss postgraduate programs. Thank you to Mr. Petian and Ms. Kobza for arranging such relevant activities for us. I took part in the college essay workshop where I was able to get assistance and tips from our guidance counselors with writing my college essay. Spirit Week for our homecoming football game and dance started today. Today was Red Devils Monday to show off our spirit in red attire. Tuesday is Throwback Tuesday, where we can go back to any year of our choice. Wednesday is Dress as Your Grade Wednesday. Freshmen are senior citizens, sophomores are toddlers, juniors are teenagers, seniors are adults, and our staff are babies. Thursday is Cartoon Character Day, where you dress up as your favorite cartoon character without using costumes. Lastly, Friday is Color Wars. Freshmen wear yellow, sophomores wear white, juniors wear red, and seniors wear black. In the STEM department, one of our science teachers, Mr. Velasco, has started a recycling club. Students collect recyclables throughout the day, doing their small part in keeping SHS and the Stratford community litter-free. The Science National Honor Society recently completed their elections for the organization's leadership. They are now finalizing their meeting schedule and getting ready to share their love of science with the SHS community. On the math side of the department, we are gearing up for our participation in the American Math Competition. We have a group of students who are excited to participate on Wednesday, November 6th, and proudly represent the SHS math community. Our math team also had 2 huge successes these past few weeks. First, they held a pickleball tournament at the courts at Penders Field with 19 participating teams. The teacher participants took the top spot, but there were also some very good games that took place. Overall, fun was had by all who participated and all who attended. Second, the math team improved their standing in the Fairfield County Math League with their recent performance outscoring several strong opponents in the local area. The school counseling department has been working on ensuring that all seniors have been able to meet with their counselors in a one-on-one setting to discuss their post-secondary plans. Many of our seniors are choosing to apply to a 4-year state university on their free application day in November. The school counselors went into all 9th grade modern world history classes to hold their getting to know you lesson along with learning style inventory in Naviance. On October 25th, Betsy Toth attended the CT FAFSA Summit in order to best support our seniors in the FAFSA application process. Dr. Charles Hughes, Deputy Commissioner of Education, and Chris Soto, Senior Advisor to the Secretary of the Department of Education, presented to the group. The Humanities Department is gearing up for the November election with civics teachers instructing students on the Electoral College and eventually moving into the analysis of political campaign ads. Teachers aim to hone in on the communicator competency of Portrait of a Graduate, having students critically analyze the ways political campaign ads appeal to various audiences. In the creative writing classes, students are honing their creative skills, writing a piece of creative nonfiction, building on previous work, and new nonfiction experiences. Students are actively engaged, crafting narratives that reflect universal themes. On October 16th, the Stratford Care Organization organized a viewing at Stratford High where people from the community were invited. The viewing was a documentary entitled The Right to Read. This film emphasizes how we in America as a nation are facing literacy challenges. Our students are not up to par in reading, and the film mentions how this problem is impacting our local and nationwide schools. Immediately after the film, there was a group discussion session where the attendees had a chance to discuss the film. Many people from our Stratford community were present: students, teachers, principals, parents, police officers, and so forth. This film emphasizes how we in America as a nation are facing literacy challenges. And I had the chance to participate in this viewing, and although the film was unsettling, I enjoyed the experience. My takeaway from it is we need to do better to improve students' literacy levels. Us as a society must invest in reading, especially early literacy, to remedy this problem. Everyone in my group was on the same page, emphasizing that our school system needs additional resources for parents, educators, and students so we can move forward. Last month, we were asked 2 questions. 1, how can we make the school better? And 2, how can you engage your class to help make the community better? When thinking about school, 3 aspects always come to mind: safety, creating an atmosphere conducive to learning, and a great curriculum with knowledgeable and supporting staff. We are doing well in Stratford, but there is always room for improvement. Regarding safety, the constant ongoing issues about safety at school events and games calls for stronger security procedures. An idea we want to propose is having student IDs for all students. It can include the students' general info, bus information, and lunch information. This way, we know who are students at our school and who aren't. The school should also create an environment for the children that is conducive to learning, where children feel it's okay to make mistakes. That's how they learn and develop. As for having a great curriculum, standardized testing also needs to be reviewed. We should consider the goal of testing, how often do the students need to take this test, and how do we use the information that we gain to make changes that will benefit the students. In addition, standardized testing, mental health programs, phone policies, and other school policies have been constantly changing every few years. Constant change affects not only students but our staff as well. It is always beneficial to review the curriculum and strategies that we have so we can evaluate what works and what doesn't. However, we also need time for effective data. Consistency allows for growth and is needed. For example, materials, books, and programs that we're chosen to teach. We need to give a chance to the teachers and students to familiarize and assimilate themselves with the content before moving on to the next. For the second question regarding engaging our class, we have numerous leadership groups who diligently strive to improve our community. Yale Inspired Ed, Link Crew, Student Council, and Be Kind are just a few of the leadership groups we have here at SHS. Each group does their part to ensure we have an engaged community. We also think that connection is crucial between upperclassmen and underclassmen. As older students, we should strive to create a safe and welcoming space for the middle schoolers to transition from middle to high school. We need to foster better communication with the students, which can be done through a mentorship program. At Stratford High School, we are working on creating a new club, Living in Color. Through our new leadership group, we can connect with the local middle school to make sure each student has an upperclassman mentor they can go to if they need anything. With the help of Link Crew, we can expand this mentorship program to include all the freshmen. This will allow a smoother transition for the younger students and can even encourage strong friendships. On the athletic front, the Stratford Athletic Department recognized their September Athletes of the Month sophomore, Dylan Assumption, has had a wonderful season and led the boys cross-country team to states. Mary Gay Sutton is the captain of the girls swim team and has qualified in several events for the SWCs and states. The Southwest Conference created a short film promoting good sportsmanship from players, coaches, and spectators. A student athlete from each of the 14 SWC teams collaborated and later acted roles in the video, which will be sent to the CIAC. Junior swimmer Katie Raffaelli was Stratford student athlete representative. Junior golfer Max Owen medaled in the SWC championships with a third place finish. Girls volleyball qualified for the state tournament and will play at Bristol Central in the first round. Boys cross country team had 2 athletes finish in the top 40 in the state out of 175 runners. Dylan Asuncion finished 17th and Zachary O'Toole 39th. This Friday is football's homecoming game versus New Milford. Along with Spirit Week, there is also our annual pep rally Friday afternoon. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Bernardo, and it is a pleasure to speak with you this evening. At Bunnell, we are busy wrapping up the first quarter with lots of activities. You may notice that Dr. Graff is not in attendance this evening. That is because she is with Mr. Delapiano and a team of Stratford educators at the Barr Foundation Fall convening in Massachusetts. The Stratford Public Schools was recently awarded a 4th grant with the Barr Foundation. For the next 3 years, the focus will be on the high-quality task construction. In our STEM department, on November 6th, Bunnell math students will be competing in the American Math Competition sponsored by the Mathematical Association of America. Math courses have gotten off to a strong start at Bunnell, and underclassmen have taken NWEA and PSAT to better understand the personal progress in math skills. In science, neuroscience students completed their first dissections of sheep brain. It was a big hit, and there will be more dissections to come. Forensic students have been engaged in activities on deductive reasoning, and AP students in biology, chemistry, and physics have all been active in explorations aligned to the College Board curriculum. In humanities, 11th grade teachers are wrapping up their first transformative learning experience unit, and this unit focuses on slam poetry. Students will be getting ready to write and exhibit inspiring poetry over the next few weeks. In our fine arts department, the musical is coming up on December 12th, 13th, and 14th at 7 p.m. and December 14th at 2 p.m. Rehearsals are well underway and the show looks amazing. Stage is holding a Nightmare Before Christmas donation drive. We are collecting unwanted adult costumes and old Christmas decorations such as Christmas trees, ornaments, and garlands. If you have anything you would like to donate, please reach out to Ms. Callahan. Stage will be hosting Pictures with Santa and Buddy the Elf for $5 at the Holiday Fair at Bunnell on November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The choir will be performing at Radio City Musical Hall on December 4th at 1:50 p.m. before the 2 p.m. Christmas Spectacular show. If you can attend the show, come support the choir in their biggest performance of the year. The music department concert will take place December 16th at 6 p.m. This concert features several choirs, bands, and orchestras. Tickets are $4 and will be available online and at the door. The Bunnell Marching Band has just completed their 2024 competitive season. We had a very successful cavalcade at Bunnell, having the largest number of competitors in almost 20 years. The band finished 3rd in Class 4A with an 84.5 at Connecticut State Championships in New Britain this past weekend to cap off an amazing season. In athletics, Andrew R. in cross country and Marissa DePronio in girls soccer were named October Athletes of the Month. The athletic department donated over $3,800 to the Norma Freem Breast Cancer Foundation during the pregame ceremony to the Pink Out football game that took place on October 25th. Boys soccer is going into the state tournament ranked 6th in the Class L and will be hosting the first round of the boys soccer tournament this Friday. Our football team is currently ranked 5th in Class MM, and they defeated New Milford 49-0 and will take on Notre Dame Fairfield this Friday at 6:30 p.m. at home. Student government hosted their homecoming dance Saturday, October 26th at Trumbull Marriott. 300 students purchased their tickets for the harvest-themed activity. On November 22nd, student government will be hosting its first blood drive of the school year in conjunction with the American Red Cross. The school counselors on October 22nd met with the eligible seniors to discuss the Connecticut Automatic Admissions Program. Details were shared on how to correctly set up their Common App accounts in order to receive information and acceptance offers from participating colleges. The PowerPoint presentation was emailed to the families of eligible students and is also located in your school council and Google Classroom. On October 23rd, school counselors facilitated senior college workshops where the following topics were presented: Common App support, resume writing, developing your college list, scholarship opportunities, and representatives from Connecticut State, Southern Connecticut University, Post University, Bell Academy of Cosmetology, and Army and Navy representatives were there. And we also had FAFSA support. The virtual financial aid workshops were offered on October 22nd and 23rd. The anticipated release date of FAFSA application is December 1st. FAFSA assistance workshops will be available for families starting in December and January. The ASVAB Military Entrance Career Exploration Exam will be offered to students in grades 10 through 12 on November 20th at 8 a.m. The results of the exam will be administered and reviewed with students on December 11th. I'd like to thank you all for your time for allowing me to share what's been happening at Bunnell. But before I come to an end, Mr. Hendrick, last month you asked what the board could do to make the school better for students. One of the major things that the board could do was to fully fund the budget. We need more teachers to teach elective courses and funding for teachers to run after-school clubs and activities. We also need a career censor since that position was cut 3 years ago. Speaking for Bunnell, I can share that one of our greatest needs is a full renovation of our building. I would like to thank Mr. Hendrick for performing a walkthrough at Bunnell with Dr. Graff earlier this month. Councilman Afrier also conducted a walkthrough of the school with Dr. Graff last week. We are hopeful that the community sees the need for equity between the two high schools. You also asked how students can be more involved in the community, and my personal perspective is that Bunnell students are highly involved in the community, both through and outside of the school. For example, the Interact Club is highly visible at most community events, and I myself volunteer a lot at the Stratford YMCA. And we have many connections to community organizations like Sterling House, Stratford Community Services. Last month, several students were interviewed for a Leaders in Training program with the South End Community Center with Ty Sims. And in November, Chelsea from Stratford Community Services will be teaching a teen mental health course in some of our senior health classes. Thank you again for your time and have a great rest of your evening.
I think this board, just some of the, before you please go, some of the comments we have been addressing, and perhaps you might like to write a letter or answer those at a later time, but some of the comments that you did make, we were in the process. But I do look forward, and I do appreciate your comments, and look forward to this not being just a one-time response, but an ongoing conversation. So, but thank you, and I appreciate your diligence and your effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest.
And Mr. Chairman, can I also mention that you both forgot to mention 2 important events coming up. And on behalf of all Stratford veterans, thank you for the luncheon that Bunnell will have on Thursday, the 7th, and Stratford High on Tuesday, the 12th. And they're incredible events, and we thank you. In fact, I want to mention too, Danny Brennan, who was the Stratford representative last year, is in his 2nd week of boot camp with the Marine Corps at Paris Island. So I'm sure he's having an interesting
Thank you so much.
All right, we will move into our state legislative report. Dancer, do you have anything for us this evening?
Well, as you all know, the state general assembly is not in session, so we're in the middle of our election, and none of the committees are meeting, obviously, so there's nothing new to report at the state level from last month. I just wanted to say to the students that left, it was really great to hear all of the wonderful things that are happening at both of our high schools, you know, from STEM work to school spirit to sports, so I think we have a lot to be proud of. You know, and I listened to their concerns about fully funding the Board of Ed, and I do believe that a lot of that needs to come from the state level, and I think that's something that was dropped a little bit last year, and something that needs to be addressed hopefully in the next session. So I am willing to speak with anyone here about some thoughts for next year, and we will hopefully have a good election this year, and be able to continue some of the fine work that we're doing here in our town. if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. I don't think that Representative Gresco is here.
So, I do have a question, comment. We've been focusing a little bit, getting started with the CT, the career track, and trying to develop that a little more extensively here in Stratford. State Rep Tim Acker held a roundtable about workforce development, so I know it's an issue within the state as well. A couple of issues that had come up, one was the number of licensing. The number of licenses that are available to some of the construction trades is a limited amount. Besides better weather and lower taxes, when our children or our young men and women get the licensing they need, the opportunity's not there because of the limitation of those licenses, so they're heading south. So that was a big issue, and that was a big concern. And that kind of piggybacks into the CT track, because these kids are going into these trades.
Exactly, yeah.
And we're creating those opportunities, but we're not creating an avenue for them to fulfill their careers. And then secondly is getting some type of a certification when these kids, whether it's one of the small examples was the electrician's trade. They need to take some type of a mathematical course. And the comment was that most kids coming out of basic algebra have the certification to pass the test or meet that criteria within some of those trades, and so they're not allowed to. So a kid who comes out of high school and rolls right into one of the trade programs or one of the licensing, the apprenticeship programs, has to go back and redo his high school math. And there are a number of other things, and as we create programs to enable those kids, the courses and the programs they take here can get some type of a certification that can go towards them filling their apprenticeship. So it can expedite the process and maybe reduce some of the costs, so to make it more affordable.
Has anybody looked into the technical school policies and the pathways that they use for the trades and the regional vocational schools at the state to see how they do it, and maybe we can follow the same procedure or work with them? Might be an idea.
It was my understanding that even some of those don't have the same, and we can look a little more into it, but you know, maybe if you can help us too.
Sure.
And you know, I know you're only one of many up there.
Yeah.
But just I'd like to maybe work towards, and we have been talking about it here at the board and about developing or expanding that CT track.
Yes, and expanding the different pathways for students. Not everybody needs to go to a 2 or 4 years college. They can also go to trade schools or come out of high school with a career already set up for them. So yeah, that's great. That would be great.
It's my understanding that with the trade schools, it needs to be a decision made at a younger age.
Yes, well, I mean, they're starting in 9th grade, so yeah.
Yeah, and the decision made even sooner, so as a 12 or a 13-year-old, you have to decide.
Yeah.
So whether the high schools offer some type, but just allowing whatever they do here in the school, if there is some type of, we have an auto shop, we have the culinary, we have a bunch of other routes they can take, but just ensuring that that certification is available to them once they complete whatever different schools in different areas are doing.
Sure, I'm happy to talk with Representative Acker about pursuing that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anybody? All right, well.
Good, thank you.
Appreciate your time. All right, so, the next item is an executive session. Before we jump into executive session, we have 3 action items surrounding the contracts, and didn't know if it would make sense, because I'm guessing there's a number of people here for that we tackle that first. I don't know what your thoughts are. Or we can just stick with the agenda and go in order, and people can sit on all of it. How many people are here for the contracts? Let me ask that. Nobody?
We're here for everything.
We're here for the All right, so then we will move into executive session, pending litigation with Sunday versus Stratford Board of Ed, et al. Discussion of possible settlement. That executive session will include members of the board and Attorney Dugas. Second by Ms. Adele, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.